Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things, and welcome to another video, and welcome to the final vlog of Jane Austen July. So, welcome to the last reading vlog of this Jane Austen July. I thought I would begin this vlog telling you what I'm currently reading and what I'm hoping to read soon. There are 10 days left of Jane Austen July. Today is Monday, the 21st of July. And these next 10 days are like the least busy 10 days of my Jane Austen July, so I'm hoping I might get quite a lot of reading done, but we will see. And yeah, in terms of what I'm currently reading, I'm currently listening to two audiobooks, Emma by Jane Austen, which I'm hoping to finish pretty soon, and The Mysteries of Udolpho by Anne Radcliffe, which I'm really enjoying. So those are my audiobook listens, and in terms of my physical reads, I'm reading Emmett by Elsie Rosen, which I'm reading on my phone. I'm very near the beginning of that, but really enjoying it so far. And then I have just finished another book, so I am debating what to pick up next. I think I'm going to pick up a Jane Austen Year, which is a non-fiction book, sort of almost like a coffee table book, like there's lots of photographs and stuff as well. So I think this will be quite an interesting read. I'm looking forward to picking this up, and I think this will be a nice thing to read like a little bit of every day, maybe in the last week of Jane Austen July, 10 days of Jane Austen July. I'm also really keen to read This Motherless Land by Nikki May. I do have a physical copy, but it's in my bag, which I have left over the other side of the room, and I'm now, you know, attached by microphone to my camera, so I'm not going to go get that now, but I'm looking forward to picking up This Motherless Land. I think it'll be a really interesting read. It's in my bag because I intended to start it yesterday and didn't end up having time to read, but I'm looking forward to getting to that. After that, I will see. I still have 4 books left on my physical TBR, and I feel like there were some other audiobooks and ebooks I wanted to get to, so we'll see. But yes, I have a bit of work to do over the next 10 days, but I also have lots of decorating to do. I'm going to be doing some painting of some walls, which is, you know, great audiobook time. So I'm hoping I will get through Emma and The Mysteries of Udolpho pretty soon. I think I am about on schedule for the Emma read along, but I'm hoping to get ahead of schedule and finish it like today or tomorrow, because I have some videos I want to make about Emma within Jane Austen July, and I feel like I need to get on and plan them, so I feel like I need to finish my reread first. But yes, we will see. Hello, it is Tuesday evening and I am very tired because I've been painting most of the day. I have lots of decorating to do this week and next, so I've basically taken a week off work, but I am alternating. So I'm doing like a day of work, a day of painting, a day of work, a day of painting. And today was a painting day and I've painted all day and I'm feeling very tired. But I got through a lot of audiobook. So I finished off listening to Emma, which I really enjoyed. And I'm glad I finished it off a little bit early because I'm hoping to make some videos about Emma. So I need to plan them out. And then I also have listened to a massive chunk of The Mysteries of Udolpho. I think I've got 8 hours left now. So on my next painting day I should finish it, and I listened to a good 8 hours of that today, probably. No, maybe not quite, maybe 6 hours of that after I finished Emma. But yeah, really enjoying The Mysteries of Udolpho. Lots of drama, so much drama, a lot is happening and it's very dramatic, and I'm really enjoying that. So yes, I'm hoping to finish that off soon. Then the other thing I've started today is a Jane Austen Year, which is a kind of coffee table book. I'm enjoying this. It's quite like, well, it's a coffee table book, I suppose. Everything's a bit disconnected and there's lots of like extracts from Jane Austen's novels and letters, which I have read before, and then like some non-fiction bits and pieces about kind of Jane Austen's life and sort of the social context of her time. So I'm finding this interesting, but I feel like it's not going to be a book I will like learn a lot new from, but it is very beautiful, so you know, that's nice. So I've read like the January section today. It's separated like by months, although I don't know why some of these things were in January, but hey, this is quite rambling enough because I'm very tired, so I will stop rambling now and I will go and have dinner, and I will check in again soon. Hello again. It is the evening of Thursday, the 24th of July, and I spent most of the day painting in my redecoration project, and I therefore listened to the rest of The Mysteries of Udolpho, so I finished it off today. I would say it was really, really fun, and I had a good time with it. I'm glad I listened to the audiobook while doing something else, because I feel like it's the kind of book where if I had been reading it physically, I might have got a little bit bored at points. Maybe not, because I would have read it faster. I feel like it was a little bit too long for me. So there's two Gothic castles, two mysterious locations, and there's Udolpho and there's another castle. And I feel like moving between the two places meant the pacing was odd for me. So I really enjoyed it overall. I definitely enjoyed it more, and I think it'll stay with me more than the other Anne Radcliffe book I've read. I did enjoy certain things about the ending, and I feel like there are some things that are a little bit anticlimactic, but I kind of enjoyed the way in which they were anticlimactic. I don't really want to say more than that. I enjoyed it overall. I thought it was fun, but not a new favourite. I feel like reading Jane Austen's Bookshelf by Rebecca Romney earlier this month got me so excited to read more 18th century literature, and so I kind of went into The Mysteries of Udolpho being I'm gonna love this, it's gonna be so good, and then I finished it and I was like, that was good, that was fun, but it's not a new favourite. But there we go, that's okay. The next audiobook I'm going to listen to, which I think I will get through all of next week because I have some more painting to do, is going to be The Female Quixote by Charlotte Lennox. So I have the physical book, the paperback, out from the library, but I am actually going to listen to it on audiobook instead. And I'm really looking forward to this. I've heard good things about this, and I've heard it's very funny. It's also not that long, so I think I will get through this and maybe another audiobook next week while decorating. I will see, but I'm going to start that. And then the other thing that I have to report is that I finished reading A Jane Austen Year. I read this much faster than I was expecting to. It's just such a quick read. It is, it's really a coffee table book, and some of the pages there were a few paragraphs of text on, but some of the pages there are just 10 words on. I enjoyed this. It's good fun, sort of little anecdotes and bits of information about Jane Austen. So there's some sort of informational bits, and then there's some quotes from her novels, extracts from her novels, some extracts from her letters. I especially enjoyed the extracts from her letters because I have read a lot of her letters, but not for ages. And there's lots of sort of beautiful photographs and stuff. It's a really nicely designed book. I do feel like it is really a coffee table book. It was fun to read it through, but I kind of feel like it's not really the sort of book that is meant to be read through necessarily. As someone who knows quite a lot about Jane Austen, I didn't really learn anything new from this, but I feel like if you pick this up not knowing anything about Jane Austen, you would find it a bit confusing because it's quite bitty. It goes through month by month and talks about here's a letter Jane Austen sent in this date in August, and here's something that happened to Jane Austen in August of a different year, and here's a bit from one of her books that takes place in August. That's the kind of setup, which I quite liked, but that does mean that therefore you're not reading about things in the actual order they happened in her life. Maybe this would be a book to pick up and just read a bit every month. I don't know. So yeah, I feel like I enjoyed this, but I didn't necessarily read it in the way it is meant to be read. But hey, it was fun, and it was a very quick read. The other thing I have been reading, I have begun This Motherless Land by Nikki May, which is a kind of Mansell Park retelling. I don't think it's going to be a strict retelling so much as a in conversation with Mansell Park book, I suppose. And I'm really, really enjoying this so far. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think this is going to be a fascinating book. I'm just really liking the writing style and the characterization so far. I'm only 20 pages in, and currently we're following a young girl called Funke, living in Nigeria with her family. She is the sort of Fanny Price character, and I know from the back of the book and sort of the premise that something's going to happen. Well, in fact, something has just happened. I've just got up to the page where something happens that is going to mean she is going to end up living in England with relatives instead of in Nigeria where she has grown up. I'm really looking forward to continuing with this because I just think I'm really, really going to like it. The other thing I want to show you though before I finish this slightly rambly clip is something I got in the post yesterday, which I'm so excited about, and is not a book, but is Jane Austen related, and that's this. This is a Jane Austen Lego set. So Ros from Scallydandling About the Books and Tilly from Tilly's Shelf were out shopping together, and they saw this in a charity shop, and they thought of me, so they bought it for me and sent it to me, which is so kind of them, and very lovely, especially because I have seen this around on Instagram and been like, oh, I really want to own that because, you know, I love Jane Austen, and Lego. Lego has like so many fond childhood memories for me. I had seen this online and thought, oh, I really want that, but it's only available like as a free gift with a really expensive Lego purchase, and I think that's just like a promotion they're doing this year because it's 250 years of Jane Austen. But obviously Ros and Tilly came across it in a charity shop and sent it to me, which is so kind. So I'm really excited to put this together, and maybe I'll do that while listening to the Female Quixote on audiobook over the weekend. I think this would just be really fun. Look, it's little Lego Jane Austen. I'm just so utterly delighted by this. So yeah, okay, that's all for now. I will keep reading and vlogging, and I will check in again soon. Hello again, it is Monday the 28th of July, and I thought I would film a clip for this vlog because I feel like I haven't filmed very much for the last couple of days. Just had a relatively busy weekend doing things, so I didn't get that much reading done, and I also haven't filmed a clip, so I thought I would tell you how my reading is going. So I've read a bit more of This Motherless Land. I'm now about 100 pages in. I'm really enjoying this still. I think it's really fantastic. Very curious to keep reading with this. I've also read another pretty big chunk of Emmett by Elsie Rosen, so I'm now like halfway through that and really enjoying it. I think it's a really interesting Emma retelling, and I'm especially enjoying what the author's done with Emma's father, Mr. Woodhouse, like the Mr. Woodhouse character, because in this Emmett and his dad have a really interesting relationship, and his dad is like really health conscious and paranoid about his own health and his son's health because of his wife's death, and because of the circumstances of her death, and basically because he has a lot of like trauma left over from that. And I think that's like explored really well, and it's quite an interesting take on Mr. Woodhouse, and on why he might be as he is. So I thought that was quite interesting, and I'm enjoying kind of everything else in it too. I'm curious to see how it goes. Then I've also been listening to The Female Quixote by Charlotte Lennox. I can't remember where I was up to last time I filmed a clip. I assume I had started it. When did I actually last film a clip? Maybe I hadn't started it. I'm really enjoying The Female Quixote. It's about a young lady, Lady Arabella, who reads a lot of like chivalric, medieval and ancient romances, and therefore thinks that life ought to be like those romances. So she kind of expects every man she meets to be in love with her, and to have designs on her, and she sort of won't listen to someone who actually does love her because he dares to tell her so, and all of this sort of drama. And it's very silly, but it's also very exaggerated, so it feels like both a parody on those sort of chivalric romances, but also like a parody on the critique that you often find in 18th century literature about the fact that young ladies might read too many novels and it might affect the way they think and feel and behave. I think Charlotte Lennox is obviously saying, like, look how ridiculous it would be if someone actually did take novels for their model. No one does. So yeah, I'm finding it really fun, and it's a bit different. I'm listening to the audiobook narrated by Donna Banya, which is really good. I'd very much recommend it. I think it's a really fantastic audiobook. She's got a great voice and it's very entertaining. And every time, you know, sometimes in 18th century literature there's like an en dash, a blank for, like, you know, the Duke of blank or whatever, instead of like saying blank or whatever, because obviously in an audiobook you have to decide how to handle that. The narrator does like a very discreet cough, which I just find like really funny. It really works for the vibe of the book. So yes, I am thoroughly enjoying the female Quixote so far. So yeah, those are the 3 things I'm currently reading. I'm hoping I will manage to finish all 3 of them off by the end of July, but I don't think I'm going to manage to finish anything else off. But I do have some more painting to do this week, so I might get through more audiobook time, but we will see. So yes, that is all for now, and I will check in again soon. Hello again. It is the evening of Wednesday the 30th of July and today I finished listening to the female Quixote. I had another painting day doing lots of decorating and I finished listening to the female Quixote. I am still listening to the introduction which they put at the end of the audiobook very sensibly, so I still got that to finish, but I have finished the novel, which I really enjoyed. I feel like it's probably the 18th century novel I have enjoyed the most. I also did love Belinda by Maria Edgeworth a lot, which is maybe 18th century and is maybe very early 19th. I think maybe it's like 1801, but in terms of like pre-Jane Austen books, I feel like the 2 I have enjoyed the most are the female Quixote and Belinda. But I think I enjoyed the female Quixote more, though maybe I found Belinda more fascinating. Like I feel like I want to reread Belinda and study it. And I kind of do want to study the female Quixote as well. I thought it was fascinating. It's just a very silly novel, but in a really kind of delightful, fun way. And also, although like the point of the book is that Lady Arabella is mistaken in expecting to find the world like a romance. Actually, lots of like things do happen in the book that are quite dramatic. So yeah, I just had a lot of fun with it. Loved the writing style. Really would recommend the audiobook. The narration was great. And it was just great fun. So that was good. I'm going to paint all day tomorrow as well. So I have time to fit in another audiobook, I think. So I think I found an audiobook of A Simple Story by Elizabeth Inchbold because I'm feeling in the 18th century mood right now. And I think that'll be really interesting. That's not too long. It's like 12 hours. So I might finish it tomorrow while painting, or I might finish it off on Friday, which I know is August, but it's fine. I also still haven't finished off This Motherless Land and Emmett. I am really near the end of Emmett. I am like halfway through This Motherless Land, but you know, that's fine. I have to go because I'm off to a book launch this evening, which I'm really looking forward to. I've got a very bookish week this week because I've got 2 book launches in a row, one tonight, one tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to that. Today is the launch of No Safe Place by Hannah Brennan, who's a friend of mine, and it's so good and I'm so excited to go to the launch. And then tomorrow I'm going to Sophie Irwin's launch for How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days, which is, you know, a Regency set book, so very appropriate to finish off Jane Austen July. Very excited about that too. So there we go. I keep forgetting every time I film a clip to say that I've also been watching Emma Approved, and I am like 80% probably of the way through Emma Approved. I've seen it before, but not for years, and it's just so fun. I really, really enjoy it as an adaptation of Emma. I just think it, you know, modernises everyone really well. And I really love like Emma and Alex, who's the Knightley character. I just think they're really fun. So I've been really enjoying watching that too. And I will hopefully finish that off tomorrow because I don't have that much left. So there we go. Hello, good evening. It is Thursday evening, the 31st of July. There's about an hour and a half of Jane Austen July left, and I have not finished everything I wanted to, but I have finished some things. What did I finish today? I finished listening to the introduction to the female Quixote. I think I spoke about the female Quixote yesterday. I think I said everything about it that I wanted to say, but the introduction to the audiobook, which was at the end of the audiobook, was really good. I would definitely recommend that Penguin Classics audiobook. And then I also finished reading Emmett by Elsie Rosen, which I really enjoyed. Really fun Emma retelling. I thought there were a lot of really good elements. I especially enjoyed the relationship between Emmett, the Emma character, and his father. I thought that was really nice. And the sort of like friendship group and how all of the various characters were incorporated and kind of modernized was really fun. I liked the Miss Bates character Georgia a lot as well. I'm not sure how I feel about the pacing. It's really interesting. I found this a lot when I read a modern retelling of a Jane Austen novel, especially one that is like relatively beat for beat. I often feel like I find the pacing off. And I don't actually think it's because there's anything wrong with the pacing of the book as a book. I think it's because the pacing doesn't match Jane Austen's pacing. Like, I feel like the first half of the novel Emma took up like 2/3 of the novel Emmett, if that makes sense. But to be honest, I also think I wouldn't have noticed that as much if I had not just read Emma very, very recently. And overall, I thought it was a really fun retelling. And then I also finished watching Emma Approved, another modern Emma retelling, this time a YouTube adaptation, which I really, really enjoyed. Very, very good fun. I really, really love it. I haven't seen it for years, so that was really lovely. I just really enjoy how they modernise all the characters again. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then I also read a whole thing on audiobook, but a very short thing. I've been thinking a lot about the authors that Rebecca Romney wrote about in Jane Austen's bookshelf, and I've been trying to like find things from all of the authors. And there was one author in that book that Rebecca Romney wrote about, Hannah More, who I didn't really think I would like. I didn't get the impression that Hannah More was an author I'd get on with. Rebecca Romney didn't think very highly of Hannah More's books, nor necessarily did Jane Austen. And then I was just looking on Audible and I found a free collection of her poetry that was like an hour long on audiobook. So I listened to that selected poems collection by her, which I really, really didn't like at all. Really, really didn't like it. So that's good to know. I don't feel inclined to pick up anything else by Hannah More. The general message of the poems were the poor should know their place. That was basically the general message of the poems. And they were very like didactic poems with that message. So yeah, I don't think Hannah More's for me. And then I have started listening to another audiobook. I'm about halfway through A Simple Story by Elizabeth Inchbold, which is, yeah, really interesting so far. I'm very curious to see where it's going. Rebecca Romney, again, wrote about this book in Jane Austen's bookshelf, and she thought really highly of it. And I like skimmed over some of the passages where she was talking about the plot because I didn't want to be spoiled because it sounded quite good. It's a story of a young woman. Her father dies when she's 18 years old, and she is sort of taken on to be the ward of a friend of her father's, but a friend who was much younger than her father, who is a Catholic priest. I think I will finish that off tomorrow, and then I will count it as a Jane Austen July read. If I carry on with Jane Austen July for one extra day, that's fine. And then the other thing that I'm so near to finishing is This Motherless Land by Nikki May. I've got like 80 pages left. It's so good. I just think this is a fantastic, fantastic novel. I'm so looking forward to finishing this and just like thinking about it because it's great. Yeah, it's so good. It's one of those books that is just like, just the kind of book I love, where the characterization is just fantastic, really rich, really nuanced, really complex and great. The story is so poignant, and there are so many like really, really powerful moments. Like sort of like almost like shockingly poignant things. There's been a few like moments reading this book that have just like made me catch my breath because they're so like, oh my goodness. It's definitely more like a book in conversation with Mansfield Park than it is a Mansfield Park retelling. I think it is a book that has quite a lot of the same themes as Mansfield Park, but the plot is entirely different. Like the sort of basic premise of young girl sent to live with relations in a very different circumstance to her. That is kept, but from that point onwards, things are very, very different. But I feel like a lot of the themes of Mansfield Park are sort of kept in this book. And I love the way that Nikki May has written about them. And I just think it's fantastic. So yes, I will hopefully finish off This Motherless Land and A Simple Story tomorrow. And we'll count tomorrow as the last day of Jane Austen July, though it is the 1st of August. That's fine. Oh yes, I will also quickly show you, because I've been to 2 book launches, as I said. Yesterday I went to the launch of No Safe Place by Hannah Brennan, and tonight I've just been to the launch of How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days by Sophie Irwin, which, you know, I could say for Jane Austen July next year because it is Regency, but also I might just read it really soon because it looks so fun. So that is all for now, and I will check in tomorrow when I have finished off my last 2 books. Hello, it is the morning of Saturday the 2nd of August, and I did finally finish off the 2 last things I wanted to finish off in Jane Austen July. So I finished This Motherless Land, which I thought was fantastic. Just finished this like half an hour ago, and I thought it was so good. Just a really, really powerful story with really rich like themes and characterization and setting. I enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, I thought it was really interesting seeing how it kind of interpreted Mansfield Park. Like I said, it's not a very direct retelling, but I feel like the way it kind of looked at some of the themes was just really interesting, and I really liked that, and I just really, yeah, enjoyed the ending a lot. So I thought this was fantastic. Yeah, really, really good, thoroughly enjoyable reading experience. Definitely like will probably end up in my favourite books of the year. Thought this was so good. One of my highlights of Jane Austen July. Definitely, this was great. Do I have more to say about this? I feel like I've already spoken about it quite a lot in this video, and I will do a wrap up soon. And I already feel like this vlog is quite long, but anyway, yeah, this was great. And then I also finished A Simple Story by Elizabeth Inchbald, which I liked. It's a strange book because it has a sort of like fake happy ending like 2/3 of the way through, and then it like skips 17 years and like tells a different story. So it's a weird novel to be called A Simple Story because it's not a simple story, and it's actually kind of 2 stories. And I remember Rebecca Romney saying in Jane Austen's bookshelf that she wished that the author had stopped like halfway through, 2/3 of the way through, and I know the point she means. But I didn't hate the second like section of the book. I just found it, yeah, quite different. It was an interesting novel. I enjoyed the reading experience of it, and you know, it was fun to listen to, and I listened to it, you know, in sort of 2 sittings while doing decorating, so that was quite nice. But yeah, I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as The Female Quixote, but I did think it was very readable, and yeah, if you're looking for some 18th century literature, I think A Simple Story is not a bad one. I didn't love it in the way I love, like, Jane Austen. You know, I didn't think the characterization was... Well, actually, the characterization was quite interesting. Maybe it was, like, the censure of certain characteristics. Is that what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I need to think about A Simple Story more, because I don't know quite how I feel about it. And there were certain things about it that slightly annoyed me. It's quite like, you know, looks like quite a lot like how women should behave, and is relatively like censorious on certain behaviours, which, you know, makes sense for the time it was written, but also like it's quite a strict book, I suppose, in some ways. But I also feel like there's quite a lot of interesting things said in it, and there was a little bit of it that reminded me of Wuthering Heights. Okay, it's a really, really different book to Wuthering Heights, in like it's much less wild, but it has that sort of two generations, and sort of milder characters in the second generation and more extreme characters in the first generation, and looking at like the extreme how the faults of the characters in the first generation like are pushed to an extreme that causes them problems, and how that is resolved by sort of weakened down characters in the second generation. I don't know, that just felt quite Wuthering Heights to me, which was fascinating. So I kind of would like to think about that more, but also I didn't find like the story as engaging. You know, it's no Wuthering Heights, because what is, but yeah, I don't know, it was interesting. So there we go. Yeah, I have been enjoying reading more 18th century novels this Jane Austen July. I feel like this has definitely been my most successful Jane Austen July in terms of reading like books by contemporaries of Jane Austen. Like, I never usually have this much fun reading books by contemporaries of Jane Austen. So thank you, Rebecca Romney, for all your advice. Jane Austen's bookshelf was very helpful there, and audiobooks were very helpful there too. I often really enjoy classics on audiobooks, and, you know, because I have been decorating, I've had a lot more audiobook time this month than usual. I've had just like so many hours of audiobook time, which has been fun. So yeah, so there we go. That's the end of Jane Austen July. I didn't read everything on my TBR. I think there were like 4 things on my TBR I didn't get to, which is a shame, but that's fine. Yeah, maybe I'll try and read Love and Marriage and the Age of Jane Austen in non-fiction November, because I do really want to read this. I just didn't get around to it. I would still like to read 6 Weeks by the Sea soon, because that's coming out later in August, and it's only quite short, so I might try and fit this in. The Elopement by Jill Hornby, I could say for next Jane Austen July, or I might read it later this year. I will see. I'm really looking forward to it, but also I feel like often when I acquire books as hardbacks, I feel a sort of pressure to read them before the paperback comes out, because otherwise I feel like it's a waste. But one, I got this as a present, and 2, I know I want to collect all the hardbacks of Jill Hornby's early 19th century books, because this is just my absolute favourite like design thing that's ever been done on a book. Because look, it's a embroidery, and it's the back of the embroidery, and I shouldn't be so excited by this on the 3rd book, but I am. I don't feel like in too much of a hurry to read this. I will enjoy it when I do, and I will savour it, but it doesn't have to be in August. I don't need to just carry on Jane Austen July. I have a lot of books out from the library to read, and a lot of long-term TBR books to read, and a lot of Anthony Trollope to read, so maybe I'll do some of that first. Okay, this has been quite a long enough vlog, so I will stop here, but thank you very much for watching. Do let me know how your Jane Austen July went if you were taking part, and I'll be back quite soon with another bookish video.